Good day. I'm Guy Dankaz from the Idea Connector. Welcome to our table. Today we have Jenn Harper. Jenn is a proud Anishinaabe woman, a mother of two, and a budding entrepreneur. In addition to handling a full-time career as a salesperson for a major wholesaler, Jenn has started late November an online cosmetic company, Cheekbone Beauty. To be noted, she has already achieved sales. Although hers is a for-profit corporation, Jenn also wants her company to be socially responsible. For her, Cheekbone Beauty is also about generating awareness in the rest of Canada to the challenges faced by Aboriginal people. Welcome, Jenn.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. Jenn, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your cultural heritage, your schooling, your work experience.
Well, in the intro, you kind of mentioned it all. I am a mom, a wife. I have a full-time job in the food service sector, and I've been working for distribution wholesaling companies for the last 10 years in a sales role. My cultural background is I'm a Ojibwe Canadian. I was born in Thunder Bay, and my dad still lives in Northwest Angle, so that's in Sioux Narrows, Ontario, just outside of Kenora. And it's kind of just on the border of Manitoba, if I've been way that side of Ontario. I actually took some courses after high school, couldn't afford any sort of higher education, so I had to get right into the working force and started my career in the hospitality industry. And I went from the hospitality industry in management and then was offered a job as a sales position for Cisco Foods to about 8-9 years ago now. So I stuck with them, and then I have recently stayed and switched companies just over 5 years ago, and now I'm with All Seas, which we only do seafood, but I sell to Southern Ontario. I have 60 to 80 customers most weeks, and it keeps me extremely busy. My son plays travel hockey. My daughter is into equestrian horseback riding. So our lives are very full. And we stay busy with that. And then I've now started this new project, which keeps me extra busy, but I've chosen not to watch TV anymore. You didn't add, the one thing I wanted to be sure to add is that I actually am very funny.
Great. I guess you need a sense of humor when you have those type of schedules. Now let's talk about your new business, your cosmetic business. Why don't you give us the elevator pitch on your startup?
Okay, so quite simply, Cheekbone Beauty is a cosmetics brand made in Canada with the sole purpose of supporting First Nations education or Aboriginal youth.
Okay. What makes you want to be an entrepreneur in the cosmetic industry?
I've always loved cosmetics and the beauty industry, and I chose that sector for the very reason that I absolutely love it. And what makes me want to be an entrepreneur is I must be a little bit crazy because I've been working 16 to 18-hour days for the last 18 months. And that's with my full-time job and Cheekbone. So hopefully one day I'll be working those 16 hours just for Cheekbone Beauty. And I've heard it said in the past that anyone that gets into entrepreneurship leaves their 40-hour work job to work 80. And I'm definitely seeing that that's how it works. But I've not had any greater joy in my life than working on this project, to be perfectly honest. Good. Yeah, it's incredible.
And we'll wish you good luck with that. Now, tell me, are there entrepreneurs as role models in your family?
Not really. Like I do have an aunt and I have an uncle that owns some businesses in Canada, but they were really not that big part of my life. But I would honestly say it's my mom. She was a single mother for our entire lives growing up, and she really taught me how to survive, and then not only survive but thrive. So just as an example, my mom cleaned houses her entire life, and that's what she still does to make a living. But she made it in her own business to fit her schedule, to take care of us kids and never leave us without. We always had dinner on the table, and we were always encouraged. And she definitely gives me the confidence that I have today to do what I do.
What about delving into your personal finances? May I ask, as an entrepreneur that you've become, do you have the capacity to reinvest any revenue that are generated through your business for the next, say, 18 months?
That is the absolute sole purpose. Any revenue that's generated at this point is going directly back into the business. And that is in the financial business plan that we have laid out for the next 2 to 3 years.
Let me ask you a little bit about yourself now. How important is setting goals for you?
It's huge. It's literally how I've designed my entire life, is based on goal setting. To achieve anything in life, you have to have a goal. And without the goals, you would never achieve what you want. Goals give us long-term vision for the future, and on a daily basis, they help you reach just your daily goals. So it's the basis of whether it be my personal, my career, my fitness, emotional, everything in my life is based on goals.
Okay, so give us an example or two here of how these goals, how you've met the challenges that were brought by these goals through creativity, strength of character, or whatever.
So just for example, in my sales and marketing role that I currently have, I use what they call SMART goals. So it's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So say I'm working on a new account and I need to get all of their salmon business. So what I have to do is lay out the map of how I'm going to get that. And what I do with every goal, whether in every aspect of my life, is I use this term, and I always have, and it's called begin with the end in mind. So whatever I want, that's there, and I think about that, and then I create the path on how I'm going to do that. So for instance, with getting the salmon into this customer, so what I have to do is create the steps on how that's going to happen. I'm going to find out what the customer needs, how much they're already using, and then create the steps to get to that goal.
That systematic process will be important, I suppose, in the cosmetic industry. Competition seems to be quite stiff. When you go to a department stores, there's all kinds of products on the first floor there. So what do you think will be different about your product?
Yes, the cosmetics industry is rife with competition. And people have laughed and said, why would you pick this to get involved in? But aside from me loving that, I created this Cheekbone Beauty. It's a brand that was created to serve and to give. And that was not the afterthought. That's the purpose it was created. So I just always take this example. If you have this lipstick, and all things being equal, but this lipstick has a purpose, it's giving back to a community that needs support, needs help, why wouldn't you choose this one versus this one that is essentially just creating more billions of dollars for these big companies that own all the cosmetics brands that are on all the shelves at every sort of, whether it be a drugstore or Sephora or department store? What the consumer, and I'm pretty sure most of us are aware that it's 5 major brands own every brand that are sitting on those shelves. But we're, as consumers, we're getting smarter, we're educating ourselves, and people are understanding that. And when people find products that have a social purpose, they tend to sway towards that, because they realize that we live in a world that needs a lot of help in at all different areas.
So, Jenn, how are you proposing to bring forth that difference?
At this time, it's me speaking in front of using speaking engagements to get my message out, and using social media to create and get my story out there so people can read and hear about it.
Okay. Are you using a combination of social media also and other means?
Yeah, hopefully the plan is that everyone goes to the website and then you can read about why Cheekbone Beauty exists and what we're doing with a portion of the profits there. Then it's through social media that I create that hopefully people will eventually go to the website where they can see it. And then also, whether it be, there's all these different social media platforms. So whether on Instagram, it's telling the stories of Cheekbone Beauty, and then on Facebook, you can spend a little bit more time describing exactly the where and the why.
People interested in your brand, your mission, and all this, can they join up somewhere and access a regular newsletter or something?
Yeah, absolutely. We're creating a monthly newsletter that will be sent out to Cheekbone Beauty customers, and we're trying to create a community of people that care about the products that they're using, that care about basically self-improvement and creating self-awareness on how, as a society, when we work on ourselves inwardly, we just become better human beings and are able to support one another. And the better that we become personally as individuals, then that actually helps us help others. So it's always been said, you can't help anyone unless you help yourself first. So once we create these sort of skills or ideas of women or people, coming together and saying, look, I do this every day, I do this meditation, or I do this physical activity, or I like to take a bath. It's just creating a community of people that will share their ideas and how they get through the day and get through life and help building one another up. Like, that's what we absolutely want to do, is create a platform and a community and a tribe, for lack of a better word, of people that just want to be better and help other people.
So are you proposing to link that type of content to, say, the name of your brand, the packaging, the pricing, the product history, or whatever?
Well, the website will be, for the time being, the initial place where you would go and you will see the branding, you'll see the imaging, and the community will be created through that you can stay in touch and get in touch with us from the website. And also you can speak with us and engage with us on any form of social media as well.
It seems to me that the cosmetic industry, or the beauty industry in general, is a fast-moving trend type of industry, and it keeps on changing and so on and so forth. How do you accommodate that?
Well, it's just a constant, us as a brand, we're constantly engaged and seeking out information and partnerships and relationships with people within the beauty industry, and also understanding that there's different organizations that you can reach out to, connect with, use, become parts of, to make sure that you're staying abreast of what's going on in the industry. Ultimately, we know that it's the people in the market that speak. So it's what they like and want. So it's really about listening, like closing our mouths and just listening to what the consumer, and actively listening on social media, what people want and what they appreciate from different brands.
It's also change management is also shying away from some of the known environment to move towards some of the unknown. How does your personality fit those needs?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand the question.
How do you handle change?
What's that?
How do you manage change?
Oh, I mean, well, I like to use the term pivot, because in life, as an example, we are constantly having things thrown at us daily. I have worked in an industry for the last 10 years that my business is basically a reactive business, unfortunately, a lot of the time. So that's given me the skills on how, this thing, a customer was not getting his 1,000 pounds of salmon that he needs tonight for an event happening, then I have to get super creative and make sure that that customer gets what they need at the end of the day, whether it be with some kind of substitution, having it like another, it's just being able to work with that, because that's life. You're going to get thrown stuff constantly. So you have to become adaptable and pivot. And it's also perspective. It's like realizing that every human being that you're interacting with on a daily basis comes from some sort of different background, culturally, religiously, no matter. So it's understanding that those things play a big part in how we deal with people on a daily basis.
There are no doubts that you're very motivated in getting this business going, but how important is the need to achieve for you?
Huge. I wouldn't be in sales if I wasn't an extremely competitive human being. I call it, and I am fortunate that my husband and I both share sales careers. So we live in an extremely driven household. So I'm definitely driven by the rewards. And so the difference from my regular day job to Cheekbone, my rewards with Cheekbone, and probably won't be for some time, will never be financial gain at this point, but it's the fact that right now that I can be a part of creating awareness to issues that have gone on in our country for the last hundreds of years, and getting this message out to people and in my life's friends and family that had no idea of all of these great injustices that have gone on in the past and that still exist to this day. And that if I'm able to share that with them, then that gives me the drive to keep going as well, realizing that there's a lot more people out there that have no idea that all of this exists. Especially the organization that Cheekbone is supporting right now is called Shannon's Dream, and that is about the underfunding that happens in First Nations schools. And these kids are getting 30 to 50% less than a kid that goes to a school that is not on the reservation. And that is just, it's horrible, and people don't even realize that this is happening. So that's what drives me with Cheekbone.
How are you proposing to maintaining a balance between your social mission, which is generating awareness, and the need for the company to make sales, as well as meet some profit requirements?
So this is an idea that exists because, everything that I've done with Cheekbone up to this point is based on giving back and supporting a First Nations community, and nationally in throughout the entire country of Canada, the First Nations communities need this support. I am doing that, and Cheekbone is doing that, and anyone that's working with us is doing that. And the ultimate goal is just having people come and they're purchasing the product. So I firmly believe in life, when we're setting out goals that are strictly to help and serve other people, the rewards come. And so I don't know how I'm creating a balance, or if it's on purpose even, but it seems to be that that's just the way it's happening, because this is a really good thing and people are feeling that, and then they're purchasing the product, which is helping Cheekbone as a company right now put all of the money from any purchases right back into the company so that we can just keep helping people.
Will Cheekbone Beauty get involved in social issues, taking a position on social issues?
I don't know how to answer that. I haven't thought about it. But I know that we're a business, so we are going to stay a business.
Okay. What makes you so self-confident?
Well, I don't think that I am personally, but I can tell you that I have when we talked about goal setting earlier, I have daily routines that I do every single day to help me be a better human being. So a better mom, a better wife, a better salesperson for my customers. Before I go and speak to any client about any issue, I'm thinking about when I walk into my customer and I'm meeting to sell them salmon, or I'm there and I ask and I want to know exactly how I can help them, because that's the only way that our relationship works and exists. And I realized that I didn't understand that that's what I had done and always done, but it helps me have these excellent relationships with my customers because they know I'm there for them. It's not about me. I would never, if my shrimp was more expensive than my competitor, and it's the exact same product, and I care about my customer's business, I'm going to tell them to buy the other shrimp, not buy it from me, because I actually care about their business. I don't care about making a couple extra dollars at the end of the day. Don't tell my boss that, but that's exactly how I feel. And I honestly believe that throughout my career, my customers have felt that I'm here to serve people. I'm not, in the moment you realize that in life, that you take the financial end out of the equation, everything falls into place.
One last question. How do you, to me, it's obvious that you tolerate stress reasonably well. So how do you come to tolerate stress in the world of uncertainty that you live through from time to time? And how do you adapt?
Well, a lot of times mistakes, stress, all of these things are literally, those are just opportunities. And a lot of times they're opportunities for me to learn something and then for me to help somebody else. So life it's all about a mindset. So if you switch your mind and try to focus on the positive in absolutely every situation, and I have been faced in my life with horrible situations, but the moment you switch it to the positive, everything changes. And scientifically speaking, our brains can't run negative and positive at the same time. It doesn't work. Science proves that. So if you focus on the positive, then you'll stay positive, and it just makes you a happier human being and so much easier to deal with. Life, everything can happen, and you figure out a way to work it. And trust me, there are days when it's really bad and I'm thinking, that's it, I'm done, forget it, I'm turning into a jerk. I'm going to be a jerk like everybody else. Then I reality check and I say, that's not going to make me happy. That's only going to but I want to be happy. That's all I want to do. And then I want to be happy, and I want everybody around me, and that comes into my life, to be happy as well.
Good. Well, on these words of wisdom, I think it's all the time that we have available. Today, it was my pleasure to be with Jennifer Harper. Jennifer is a mom, a full-time, she has a full-time career in sales, as well as she has started an e-commerce business. And in the field of beauty products, the company is called Cheekbone Beauty. Thank you very kindly, and we'll talk to you again. Goodbye.
Thank you.